Right, what photos sell in Shutterstock? I've been submitting for 8 years, and these are my top 10 best sellers of all time. At number 10, Women Admiring Stillness of the Lake. So this was submitted in September 2013, which is roughly 6 months after I first started submitting stock photos. Just shot of my girlfriend Amanda, just looking at a lake, or a loch actually, because this was taken in Scotland, my ancestral home. This was shot with my first digital camera, a Canon EOS 550, which was really cheap. I got that for less than $300 used, and it has sold 1,693 times. Oh, and by the way, this video is like relating to my top 10 sellers on Shutterstock, but fun fact, most of these images on this list are actually some of my best sellers on other stock sites as well. So Adobe, iStock, Dreamstime, Deposit Photos. So yeah, I like this image. I don't think it's amazing, super special, but I like the colors. At the time I was trying to, I just started doing stock photography, and I was trying to kind of create a brand, trying to create a certain style that would be associated with my portfolio, and I was going for this kind of bluish, pinkish look for most of my shots, which is quite apparent in this one, I think. So the keywords people searched for to find this image were health, 30.3%, mental, 25.8%, and reflect, 4.9%. Right, at number 9, we've got cinema concept of vintage film reel with popcorn and movie tickets. This has sold 1,378 times. It was first uploaded in July 2015. And I took this with the Canon 5D Mark II. I think this might have been one of the first... Oh, sorry. Actually, no. This is actually a medium format shot. This was taken with the Pentax 645 Z. Yeah, I just bought the camera earlier that year. This is one of the first shots I took with that. The keywords people used to find this were cinema, 34.9%, movie, 25.8%, and theatre, 14.7%. And while we're looking at this one, I'm just going to give an honorary mention to my 11th bestseller of all time, which is cinema concept of vintage film reel with popcorn on wooden surface. Like sometimes when you submit to stock images, if you submit a lot of similar photos, they will reject some of them because they want your images to not be similar. They want different images. This is an example of 2 shots that are kind of the same. They illustrate the same concept, but yet they're different. And again, the people searched for were... Oh, actually, the keywords for this one were different. The top keyword for this image was popcorn, 35.1%, followed by movie, 31.7%, and cinema, 11%. Right, on to number 8, hand turning dial on thermostat. This was uploaded in November 2013, and it has been sold 1,415 times. The keywords used by people to find it were thermostat, 26.9%, energy, 11%, and save, 9.9%. Yes, this was really just a super quick shot. I did of my hand turning my thermostat in my living room, and I've actually seen this used by some large energy companies here in the UK on their websites. It's yeah, I could see why this is a useful image. It's not something I'm particularly proud of. Like it's just I don't feel like I've there's any artistic kind of input to it. It's just a very generic kind of image illustrating an everyday action. Number 7, sunlight coming through Venetian blinds by the window. This was uploaded in May 2015. This was one of the first images I took with my Leica camera, my Leica M9, which is my main camera. It's been my main camera ever since I got it back in 2015. I think the lens I used was the the Summicron 50mm at f.2. Yeah, one of my favorite lenses of all time. So it's super sharp and razor thin focus. Like I'm not entirely sure where the focus is in this image. I guess that's what a lot of buyers like about it. It's kind of quite abstract. It can be used for a lot of different things. Yeah, so it's been downloaded 1,649 times. Did I already say that? Maybe I did. Yeah, it's been downloaded 1,649 times. The keywords that people used were blind, 53.3%, window, 22.6%, and Venetian, 6%. So this was just taken in a diner when I was on holiday. It was in the diner of the hotel I was staying at. I was having breakfast and I just took the shot of the blinds. Right, number 6. Women in fear of domestic abuse. This was uploaded in August 2013. It has had 2,029 downloads on Shutterstock, and the keywords used to find it were violence, 35.6%, domestic, 32.8%, and abuse, 16.6%. So this was one of my first attempts at doing something conceptual. One of my first attempts of like setting up a shot, actually thinking about a concept to illustrate and planning it out in advance, setting it up. But it's a really simple, straightforward shot. Really, it's just my fist, my girlfriend sitting at a table. Like she's got a fairly, well, you can't really see her expression, but like she does have a kind of timid, defensive pose. And yeah, the focus is on my hand. So we did a few shots. There are a few shots in this series, and some of the others are actually bestsellers as well. So again, this is a good example of a stock image, like illustrating like a social issue. These kind of images are always popular. Number 5. Again, this was just like the previous photo. This is something that could easily be used for lots of different things. Like the keywords used to find it were counsel, 21.1%, hand, 18.8%, and hold, 9.7%. It's been downloaded 2,517 times. And yeah, I've seen this in various different articles about counseling, grief, things like that. I think this is actually my top selling image on Adobe Stock. I believe it's got like nearly 4,000 downloads on Adobe Stock. But on Shutterstock it's got 2,500. Number 4. Young women admiring the sunset over fields. It has 2,878 downloads on Shutterstock, and it was uploaded in November 2013. So again, this is one of my first images, like one of my first like really big sellers. And I took this with my first digital camera, the Canon EOS 550. And this was just, this wasn't planned. Just a candid shot of my girlfriend when we were on holiday in Devon, England. We were staying at a B&B and looking out over the field behind the place we were staying at into the sunset. Some sheep and stuff in the field, trees, sunset. The sea is in the background. I don't think you can actually see that in the photo because it kind of blends in with the sky, but it's there. Yeah, this has been sold loads of times on other sites as well, and I've seen it used to illustrate spiritual kind of articles. That's actually one of the keywords used by people searching for it. Spiritual, 13.4%. Meditate, 8.7%. The top keyword is women, 14.7%. Number 3. Young man is sitting on a sofa and reading a book while holding a paper cup. This was uploaded in April 2014, and it has been downloaded 3,879 times on Shutterstock. So this was just a shot of me sitting on my sofa at home with a really big book and holding a paper cup. Not much to say about that. I've got a few shots like this. I don't know why this one is particularly popular. The keywords used to find it were read 47.6%, book 40.2%, and man 3.6%. So again, this was early on in my career during my blue period, where I'd try and add this kind of teal tint to most of my images. Maybe that was really popular at the time. I don't know. I suppose if you look at this image wearing your kind of color science glasses, thinking about it in terms of color science, it's using complementary colors. This was not intentional. Brown sofa, and I'm wearing blue jeans. So it's a quite kind of calm image. I don't know, maybe that's what clinches the deal. Maybe that's why people like it. Anyway, on to number 2. Close up on a young woman's hands as she is having breakfast. So this was uploaded in April 2014, and the camera I used was the Canon 5D Mark II. I think I'd only had this camera for about three months at the time. This was my first upgrade, or like my first time reinvesting into my stock photography. I'd been using the Canon EOS 550 for 6 months, and then all of a sudden I actually started making money from stock photography, and I thought, hey, I should totally reinvest my earnings and upgrade my camera. So that's what I did. I got a Canon 5D Mark II, and this is, yeah, I think this is definitely one of the first images I took with that camera. And that was, again, it was on just a weekend away. We were staying in a B&B, and I took this shot of my girlfriend's hands as she was putting some butter on a piece of toast. The keywords people used to find this were breakfast, 63%, hipster, 5%, eat, 4.6%. And in case you haven't noticed, this is traditional English breakfast with bacon and beans and egg and toast. There's a cup of coffee. I'm not sure why this turned out to be more popular than any other image on Shutterstock illustrating this kind of meal, but yeah, it's been a top seller for me, and it's a top seller on other stock sites as well. So on Shutterstock, 4,761 downloads. Okay, drum roll. On to number 1. A young woman is cycling into the sunset in the park. On Shutterstock, it was uploaded in March 2014. And on Shutterstock it has had 5,465 downloads. On Adobe Stock it's had roughly 5,000 downloads as well. And if you've watched my other video, how I made $10,000 for one photo, you'd be familiar with this one. This is my all-time best-selling image across all stock sites I submit to. So on Shutterstock the keywords people used to find it were hipster, 18.8%, bike 13.2%, and cycle 11.7%. So this is just again, not a planned shot. It's just in the park, our local park where we lived at the time. My girlfriend was about to cycle to work. I walked with her to the park and just asked her to cycle back and forth a few times and took some shots of her. So I boosted the sunset a little bit in post-production, made it a little bit brighter, a little bit more orange. But other than that, I didn't really put a lot of effort into this picture, and it's my all-time bestseller. It's made over $10,000. Well, you know, strange how these things work out, isn't it? Oh yeah, and this was shot with the Canon 5D Mark II as well. Right, so there you have it. My top 10 best-selling images on Shutterstock of all time. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button. And yeah, let me know if you want to see more videos like this one. Like I mentioned earlier, these are actually my best-selling images across most of the sites. Actually, let's have a quick look at them and see what they've got in common. So if we have a closer look, if we put them all up here next to each other, we can see that quite a few of them feature hands. Quite a few of them are close-ups on hands. And yeah, I suppose this is the classic kind of definition of stock image. It's an illustration of someone doing something. We've got hands spreading butter, we've got reading a book, we've got holding hands, we've got turning a thermostat. And the popcorn ones, yeah, these kind of images are really popular as well, like flat lay overhead photography. This kind of thing has always been popular in stock photography, like things laid out to illustrate some kind of concept. Like obviously this isn't real. You'd never find popcorn and old film reel and movie tickets lying about like this. This is a staged shot, but this is something people would use to like illustrate all kinds of things, and they'd use it as backgrounds for composite images of other things. Alright, I guess that's all there's to say about that, really. So I will be doing a video of my weirdest stock images as well. Stay tuned if you're interested in that. Alrighty, catch you later.